Oh, hi there. Hey, how's it going? The lighting looks a little weird because I have my window open on that side, so it's shining all this like indirect light in on me. So I kind of feel like I look like I don't know, like one of those pointillism paintings, made out of the little dots. Look it up if you don't know what that is. Hey, welcome to your daily cup of tea with Mrs. T. I am coming to you live from the corner. Somebody put baby in the corner. If you know that reference, email me. If not, oh well, I'll talk about it next time I see you. Drinking some chai today, rocking my Winterfell t-shirt from Game of Thrones. Maybe I'll turn this on. Maybe this would be better. Let's see. No, that's worse. Worse, definitely worse. So it's Tuesday, the 31st. And we're on week 3 of being out of school, right? So it's third week, and next week is spring break, so that should be a lot of fun. No, it won't because we can't go anywhere. So I think I'm just going to take a break from doing this kind of stuff for that week, like I said yesterday, unless you missed that. So I don't know, I might do a project out in my yard, or I don't know what I'll do. Maybe pretend like I'm in Hawaii and sit out in my hammock out in the backyard. Set that up. I have like one of those portable camping hammocks, So maybe I'll do that. For 10th graders, same thing as normal. If you haven't seen this before, well, welcome to this reminder. Go to Canvas. Did I mention look at Canvas? Did I mention go click on some stuff and maybe read some things that are on there, some information things? Yeah. So that's my ponytail. So do that. If you're missing things, then get some of that done. Okay? Easy. Email it to me. That's what you do. AP kids, I just unlocked some more FRQs for you through AP Classroom. So check AP Classroom. I've already given feedback to the people who've done that. I have one person who submitted an argument essay for me to look at that they're ready, and I haven't looked at it yet, so I just know that it's there, and I'll get to that in the next couple of days. So keep those coming in. AP kids, if you're going to submit something, you need to do that by this Friday, because I'm hoping the district gives us more specific instructions by this Friday, or at least by the Monday we get back from spring break with what we're doing with distance learning. So that's that. Make sure if you're going to do that and you want my feedback that you get those turned in at some point this week. Same thing with the AP Classroom stuff as it is for the Canvas stuff. I know there's lots of things and lots of places to go for things. I just wanted to give you a bunch of different opportunities to get some really good practice in so that you're prepared for the exam and prepared if we go back to class for what we're going to be doing. So the more you do, the better. You're going to have a leg up ahead of your peers, and you're going to just see your writing scores probably just continue to go up and up and up. Those that don't do anything during this break, you're stagnating, and some of you might regress, meaning you're going to lose some of those skills. That's why doing the supplemental stuff is so important. It just keeps you thinking in that way that we've been thinking all year long. And so there's that. Mama Thomas is coming after you. All right. So I realized something yesterday. I was on Amazon because, when I'm locked in my house, I start to see like what things should I buy that I probably shouldn't buy. So I was looking at books, and Amazon has changed like their shipping policy, what they're shipping and how fast. And I'm so spoiled. We are so spoiled by Amazon Prime. I don't know if you guys in your families use that like my family does, but we use it so I can watch Amazon Prime on my streaming service, and also so I can get the free shipping on a lot of stuff. So I went there and I was looking at some books, and I was like, I have plenty of books to read to keep myself busy, but I found out that their shipping for books is way delayed. Like the book that I picked, normally I'd be able to get it like the next day or in 2 days at the most, not till April 19th. I mean, it is way delayed because they're putting a priority on necessary goods, which is then interesting because I decided to try out their pantry and order a few things. And that stuff's not going to be coming until around April 19th. So that's really weird. So I realized I should get out my Kindle and probably start downloading on my Kindle again. I'm kind of one of those people that I listen to audiobooks when I go running, or when I'm driving to and from work if I'm in the mood. I have my Kindle and I read it once in a while, and I read pretty fast on my Kindle compared to a regular book. There's just something about holding a book that I love. So I always hesitate to use my Kindle. But I have a Paperwhite so that I'm not tempted to also go online to look at stuff. So it's all in just the grayscale, which I really like. It's easy on my eyes. It's also the backlit one that I got. This is not an ad for Kindle, by the way. I'm just telling you what I'm doing to cope. But I've decided that I'm going to have to just start probably downloading instead and using my Kindle again, which, I mean, that's great. I love that we have technology and it gives us access to all that stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's just that there's something about books. And with all the little mom and pop shops of bookstores closing in the last few years, it makes me really sad because now these big companies can't keep up with the demand. But I might go to Powell's, their website, and order some books online if I run out of my other books. So on Instagram, I had mentioned I put up 2 books to vote for. I asked people on Instagram to vote which one should I read because I really didn't know which one I wanted to read. So this is the book that I'm currently reading. It's hard to see with that sun. Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This author was recommended to me by Mrs. Plotke. So if you guys know Mrs. Plotke at all, she recommended this author to me. So it's my first time reading Jason Reynolds' work. So this is told in poetic form. You can see all the different, so it's going to be a fast read. I've only read it one night. And like I was telling you yesterday, I read about 100 pages. So I'm to the point where the first part's been all about his brother's death. And that's not really a spoiler because it's in the first part of it. Anyway, so we'll see how that goes. I'll probably finish it in the next couple days because it is such a fast read. If you didn't see it, I had a video I shared about speed reading, and I'm going to start trying that. One tip that it had to be a faster reader to help your brain focus when you're reading in your head is to touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth as you read. And what it's supposed to do is it has to do with the way your brain works and how your body can't focus because it has all these other things going on. It wants to do these other things, so it can't really settle. I'm really simplifying the science here. That's okay. That's what I do. So if you do that, it gives your body something to do with that energy and those things, like how we move or shake or our mind wanders. So it helps our brain focus on that for one part of our brain because it's a physical thing you're doing. So then that mentally you can focus on your reading. And I thought that was a really cool tip. I'm going to start doing that with my no pun intended tip of the tip. Okay. So I'm going to start doing that with my novel reading and see how that goes. So last thing for today's video is going to be shorter than the other ones, even though we're almost up to 9 minutes already. Oh my gosh. Is 14,000 things to be happy about. One thing that was really funny yet aggravating is the other night I accidentally left a sleeve of Ritz crackers that was open. I was eating them downstairs in the basement while I was watching something on Netflix, and left them there, went up to bed, and the next morning they were all gone. The wrapper was torn to shreds and crumbs all over the floor in my basement because my old 14-year-old dog finally decided that he wanted to get into stuff. He's been doing that a lot lately. I don't know why. He normally doesn't do that. I could leave something out and he wouldn't touch it. But lately he's been doing that. So that was fun to clean up, but I kind of laughed just thinking of him pushing a piece of furniture aside that was in the way to get to the little table that I had those on, and then him trying to rip that apart just kind of made me laugh. The thought of and trying to do that. Remember, he's missing one of his major canines, and he has 3 toes on one of his front paws, so he can't do things as well as he used to. Um, so 14,000 things to be happy about besides my dog eating Ritz crackers in the middle of the night because he got the munchies. Do this. So I'm going to flip to something randomly, comment on it if there's anything to comment on, or see if it makes me happy. So far, it's been kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe the people that wrote this just have a way different life than me and what makes them happy. Maybe it's because I have really dark, demented humor, and so that's why some things aren't as happy to me, because I'm just like, oh, that's kind of boring and dumb. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm looking at you. I'm going to pick. Right here it goes. Candied apples, pickled beets, buttered potatoes, string beans, and a half-dozen hot biscuits served with a pitcher of honey. A pitcher of honey? Like, you couldn't just say like a little container of honey. It's a pitcher. A pitcher, isn't that pretty? That's pretty big. That's a lot of honey. Half a dozen? What? Who's eating half a dozen hot biscuits? Now, candied apples. Here's my problem with candied apples. You see what I do here? I always take something happy and turn it into a complaint. I think this is a gift I have. So candied apples are those things like you get at the fair, and it's kind of like caramel apples, but they're a different flavor from what I recall. Here's what I hate about caramel apples and candy apples. They get stuck to your teeth. You can't bite into them. You have to cut them apart. I don't know why they even sell them on a stick. Who sits there with it on the stick and is actually able to bite in and not feel like their teeth are going to get yanked out? And then usually it's like some teenager with braces getting them. What an idiot. So, I mean, you can't even eat apples anyway. It's going to take the brackets off your teeth. It's just like one of the worst inventions ever. I'd rather have a sliced apple with some caramel dip, and then I dip into the candy with the apple and eat it like a normal human being. Because, I don't know, who walks around eating a candied apple on a stick? Okay, so candied apple is kind of for me. Pickled beets, though, if you haven't seen my son's YouTube video on Izzy Tries, that's his channel, I made him try my homemade pickled beets. So you should know that I love pickled beets. I'm one of those weirdos. I know other people don't. They say beets taste like dirt. They don't to me, especially pickled ones. They're really good, and they're sweet pickling. And they just remind me of growing up. Those were a real treat growing up. The homemade pickled beets that my mom had that she would can. And so I can them every once in a while. But I'm the only person in my immediate family who eats them. My kids don't eat them, and my husband doesn't really eat them. They do not care for them. But that makes me happy because more pickled beets for me. So this part made me happy today. Buttered potatoes. I'm assuming that means like mashed potatoes with butter or something. Hello, I'm from Idaho originally. Of course I would love that. It would make me happy. The more butter, the better. Here's the clue. When I make mashed potatoes, you boil your potatoes for about 15 minutes. That's after you've peeled them and cut them into chunks. And not too small of chunks. Don't go too small or else they'll soak up too much water. 15 minutes. Here's some cooking advice from Mrs. Thomas. With some salt in the water, then you drain them. Then you put them back in the pot with a stick of butter. Yes, a whole stick of butter. If you use like 4 or 5 regular sized russet potatoes, you should be good. Yes, it's a lot of butter. That's why it's delicious. Okay, so you put the butter in there, you put the lid on the pot, you let it sit there so it starts to melt the butter because of the heat from the pan and the potatoes. Then you go and mash them. It's a little trick, just something I picked up in Idaho all those years. Buttered potatoes, delicious. Delicious. String beans. I love string beans, but they got to be cooked the right way. I actually do like canned green beans. They're something that I grew up on. I know they don't taste like real green beans that you make fresh. I know that, and I know they're a different beast, but that's okay. I still enjoy them. I know that they're different. Then hot biscuits. That reminds me, I was going to make something kind of like biscuits. So I was going to make crumpets because I have some clotted cream I need to eat, which I picked up at the British store like a month ago. I haven't opened it yet, so it should still be good in the fridge. But I need to make some type of British biscuity thingy to eat with the clotted cream. Clotted cream sounds really disgusting because you're like clots of cream. No, it's like heaven. Just if you ever come across that and someone has like clotted cream that's available with whatever you're eating, you get that. You get it with your scone, you get it with whatever it is. Anyway, so I'm gonna be making something like that soon. I think today's baking of the day is, and that's, I usually work while I'm baking. Like I'll go work on some stuff for work while I'm waiting for a step in the process. Like when I'm waiting for something to proof or bake, I usually go work on something for work. So today I think I'm gonna make mince pies. I got the mince meat ready. I took some canned mince meat, which if you don't know what that is, Google it. And then I supplemented that with some fresh orange segments, like the little mandarin oranges, and some more raisins that are just straight from the container into that, and a little bit of lemon juice and orange liqueur, and to supplement that to make it even better. I didn't have lemon peel at the time, so we'll see, but that's supposed to make it taste good. Oh, and the apples. I forgot about that. A dessert apple, chopped up small, added to that. And you mix all together. And it's been sitting in my fridge for over 24 hours now, getting all those flavors together. And so I'm going to make some little like individual mince pies today in a cupcake tin and see how that goes. So I have to make the dough for it, even though the store is still out of flour. I'm so angry about it. People, quit buying flour if you are not somebody who knows how to actually use it. Like if you've never made bread before, I guess if you're gonna like go all in and learn, but geez, some of us like that's what we do all the time is bake, and you are stealing all of the flour from those of us who would like to be able to bake to keep our sanity, because that's what we always do. Anyway, so annoying. But I'm going to try to do that. And then later this week, I think I'm going to make some white chocolate chip and macadamia nut cookies, because that's one of my favorite combos as well. So just baking my way through isolation. So that's it for this lovely, terrific Tuesday. Make sure you guys stay safe. Make sure you check in on your family, help them out as much as you can. I know times are tough for a lot of families, lots of uncertainties with employment. And so know that I'm thinking of you. One last funny thing, you might notice there's a picture above me on the wall. It's a picture of me. I did not draw that. It was actually my orchestra teacher, my senior year of high school. She surprised all of us because she was taking drawing lessons, and she asked all of us for our senior pictures, and we're like, what? Why did she want that? And she surprised us on our last concert and had her husband made the frames, and she gifted all of us the drawings she did of each one of us. So I still have mine. I don't know if everybody else in orchestra still has theirs or not, but I thought it was really sweet. She was kind of one of those crazy teachers that you never knew what her mood was going to be. You know, like very much up and down, but very dedicated, very smart about music and orchestra. She could play every single instrument in there, of course. And she played for the Boise Philharmonic as well. So just incredibly talented and someone I looked up to musically. But she also had an enthusiasm and a passion. She'd sometimes get angry, very angry, but it was because of her passion. And so she took my senior picture and kind of drew me. I kind of look like an alien, but that's okay. Do I look much different? Yeah. Anyway, have a good week. See you guys tomorrow.